Hi guys. Happy Sunday. We're in the garage today. I don't know what to do with this. It's coming off. Pardon me. We're in the garage today. I'm trying to hide how messy it is in here, but I'm just gonna call it out that that's absolutely a vacuum. So yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I have a 2021 Jeep Compass that I put my rooftop tent on. It's just parked out there. And I love it. Absolutely love it. But I have nearly 94,000 kilometers on it now, and she's showing a first sign of maybe some things that need to get fixed. So she's I call her Blueberry. She's due to go into the mechanics on Tuesday, so I actually didn't get up to anything this weekend. I had full plans and it didn't happen. So we are in the garage. I've been doing some cleaning in here, but I also thought I would bring you guys along to make some soft bait. I fell down a rabbit hole trying to find a particular bait or hook, bait that my dad bought us when we were kids, and I've never seen it before. I think I found one similar to it up in High Level when I was working there a few years ago, but it just happened, it was either High Level or Manning Fairview, one of the three. Because it was a really good hook, but they ended up getting eaten, or the line broke and we lost all of them. So I was been trying to find them to use them again. Can't find them. I think they're out of distribution. So that fell down. How do you make them? Because I'm like, there's got to be a way you can make them, some sort of thing. So I found out the whole world of soft bait making. I stumbled across a guy. His name is World's Worst Fishing. I believe he's down in Florida, and he actually makes them and sells them. So I'm gonna bring you along with this, but if you want to learn yourself, maybe he's probably the better person to follow to learn, because I am also learning. So I ended up finding these molds for the baits up in Grand Prairie. I drove all the way from central Alberta, Edmonton area, up to Grand Prairie and back in a day so that I could get these. And you heat up plastisol. To something like 350 degrees. I have to double check, with 350 degrees, and then you inject it. Where did it go? You inject it with this. I gotta obviously oil this. You inject the mold into spots here and in here to fill them, and then you let it cool. But you can do different types of things with them. So glitter. This is the first color I have. I don't have a lot of the different colors and glitters yet. I just got a couple to play with and see if I like it. But I have green, purple. This gives you a, do I have one made already? No. Green, purple, it gives you, or sorry, green pumpkin. Is that gonna focus? Yeah. This gives you kind of a murky green, brown, dirty river water color. But it's actually quite cool. So there's that one. And then I had to get, this is called June Bug, but it is purple. And I played with it a little bit. I do have purple ones I made already. I'm gonna be covered in glitter by the time I'm done this. So this is a really light, is that gonna focus? Did I do the influencer thing? There we go. I didn't put a lot of color in this, so I want to play around and maybe try and make some darker ones. But this has silver glitter and this purple June Bug color. And then I want to mix the two and see if I can make anything with that. So that's what we might do today. I have a number of different molds that I got. This one is, what do they call this one? They call this a ripper. Some of these are probably a little bit big for our area. I'm realizing that as I'm making them, but we'll play and see. So I have the ripper. That makes like one of these looking guys. I think the water's leaking in my garage. That mold makes one of these guys, like kind of like a minnow mold. And then there's spots to put the hook like in here, and whatnot. And then I have, they call this a penny twin tail, but like you see these everywhere. They're quite common, at least my understanding. And do I have one? Some of these are not, like, I'm still learning, so they're not in the best condition. But this one makes one that's like shaped like this. Twin tail, long, but we have that. I have another one that'll give you just like the worm with a single tail. I don't know what's that one called? That one's called a chub grub. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then I also have a crappy fluke. I don't think I've made any of those ones. I was having issues with the crappy fluke. It's an issue with me. It's not the molds by any means. And then I have this little crawfish. I believe that this is overkill, I think, for Alberta waters. It's a little big, but it's fun to make. I don't have one made in the garage here. And then what's the last mold that I have? A bigger ripper. So this one is, I think this is like a 4-inch ripper. Don't ask me. I don't know my measurements that well. So, yeah, there are different levels of, pardon me, quality of molds. Like these are, I believe, like a cast material. So no matter what, your baits are going to be the shape, but they're always going to be like rough material. They're not going to get like, I don't know how else to explain that, but they're like, they still do what they need to. And these are do it molds. And then these ones are, I have no idea what brand these are. I wish they were marked because I'd have a better idea. But these are like a different type of metal that they've been, I think these have been laser cut or some sort of cut in them versus a mold. And I find that these come a little cleaner when you make them. But I unfortunately don't know what brand these are. So that's that. What about this one? I don't think. I think this might, and I might be wrong, but I think this is called a Mad Dad 4-inch. I think this is an Angling AI mold, but I'd have to double check that. So yeah, we're gonna make a couple of these and see what we can find and what color we'll make, and I'll bring you guys along to actually doing it. So just to quickly show you guys, while trying to keep this blurry, I actually use a microwave that you see here to heat up the plastisol. That's quite common. People do that. And then you have your glass measuring cups, Pyrex, because they need to handle the temperature of the material. This does need to get up to 320 to 350 degrees, which is you can do in a microwave. And this is just like a really small little microwave, so it's not like you need a really high powered one. But yeah, so you can do that. And then I have heat like protecting gloves, heat resistant gloves, because this gets really hot. My table, this is actually just a folding table, and these are slats from an old bed that I'm just using right now to have a little bit of protection on the table so I don't melt anything. I have a bunch of different clamps because you need to clamp together your molds so that the material doesn't come out of them. So I have like one of these ones, and then I have a bunch of these, which I find pretty good if you're just doing one mold at a time. But when you start trying to do multiple molds in one go, you need a little bit bigger of a one. So we have that. And then I just use one of these to measure the temperature of the plastisol. A lot of people you'll see will use one of those infrared temperature gauges but it reads the top of the material, and the plastisol can actually be hotter on the plastisol can actually be hotter inside or like in the liquid than on the surface. So just so you don't cook it, they suggest using one of these. Oh, hold on. So the beauty in plastisol is you can keep reheating this stuff. There is a stabilizer heat protectant sometimes you use, but these are like leftover pieces from my injector that I've pulled out or like in the molds, and I can reheat these and make more out of them. So it's not like you have a lot of waste because you just reheat it and you can remold them. You can actually reheat and remold plastisol from the soft bait you buy from the store. Just an FYI. But I think the reason I have so much of this is I was trying to do this last fall and it was way too cold outside. So the plastisol was setting too quickly. I've heard of people like heating up plates and heating up the molds so that things run a little bit smoother. We're not doing that. It's like not hot right now, but it's also not cold. So we have warm oil so that nothing sticks. And then, yeah, I have heat stabilizer. So if I'm going to keep reheating something, and I don't have something to stir with, so I'm going to have to go get that. So what I've done is I've taken all of the molds that I want to fill and I've clamped them together to keep them shut. Sorry, the camera died. I moved the microwave that was here. It's now on the table, just because I was worried that when I move it from here to here, I didn't want to spill it. I just had visionings of pouring hot molten plastic on myself. But I gotta get this thing working. So I'm gonna quickly stop you guys. I'm gonna get this working and okay, cancel that. So this is now working. We're gonna do probably about a cup of plastisol and then fill as many molds as we can. And then I think we're gonna have to do a couple rounds so we have the opportunity to do a couple different colors. I'm still quite new in figuring like out how much of this I need to add to here and heat up to like fill all these molds. So that'll be a later project, but we'll go with that. We're gonna go until we use it all up. So probably should have nitriles on doing this, to be honest with you, but yeah, he didn't say anything. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys that this isn't as like milky white as it was, so it's starting to get up there. We're gonna stir this. It's like super bubbly. So I'm just curious to see what this gets to. Oh, it's still going up. So it's about 260, but and it's starting to get like thicker. So that's kind of how you can tell. But we do need it still to get hotter for it to properly cure. I don't know if cure is the right word, but we'll go with that. So put this in again for another 30. So I've seen bait makers that are a little bit more advanced, like they know pretty much the exact time within the conditions of their garage and everything. Conditions of their garage and like their microwave, like exactly how long it takes to get to the right temperature. Not there yet. It's kind of cool to watch because it sometimes looks like it's expanding from the heat. So we're 280. We'll do that again, and I'm gonna bring you guys in the other way so you can see a little bit better. Okay, this is sitting at about 305, so we're getting up there. I'm guessing probably about another 30 seconds. I'm gonna call that good. I'm gonna leave that thermometer in there, and we're gonna grab June bug, which is the purple, I believe. Add some color. This is where you just wing it and we start mixing the color. So just make sure you don't get any of this on your hands because this is hot plastic. I want this a little bit darker. Sweet. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of this in here, see if I can make it a darker purple. Well, that made it more red. That's kind of cool. This is the fun of it, is like you never know actually what color you're gonna get. Put this down. We're gonna throw some glitter in here. Measure with your heart. Or as I always say, measure until your ancestors say stop. Mix that in. That in here anymore. And I'm gonna move you guys. So here's the mold. I'm gonna put both gloves on now. Give you both gloves. Your injector. And you guys can kind of see. Fill it up. I usually push down until you feel a little bit of resistance, and then I go and I grab some more. Go to the next one. Go until I feel like resistance, and I'm gonna go back here and top off this, and then grab some more. Go to the next one. I put this clamp in a really bad spot, and then fill, add up a little bit more, get the rest of this. Let me go to the one over here that I don't know if you guys can see. Fill that up. See, it's starting to cool off, so I still have stuff to use. So I will really quickly cut these ones. I don't know if these ones gonna work. This might have cooled off too much, but we'll give it a go. So now we wait for these to cool off. Don't burn my hair on them, that'd be great. And I'll show you guys in a few. Okay. We'll open up one of these little ones, one of the last ones I did, and see. Ooh, that's not a good sign that there's plastisol on the wood underneath of it, so it probably leaked out the bottom. I'm still working on how to seal these up so that they don't leak. These clamps might not be strong enough, but let's see. Yeah, so as you can see, there's like plastisol on the bottom and a little bit out the side, so it might have not sealed 100%. I also have I fight with this this one mold, this larger ripper. I find that it like leaks in through here, but yeah, there's those ones. I obviously had to pull that around off of there. See. So I always just use my fingernail to like break it up here off of the plug piece. I don't know if you call it that. And anyways, okay, so that's one of them. Now that they're like this, they're obviously cool to the touch, but I do leave them out to kind of like cure more. I don't know if that's the correct wording, but they need to sit for a little bit while longer, so we'll put these ones over here. This one we might have to see, just because it has like so much excess around it. We'll pull it off, throw that back in there. Let's see if I can pull all this off the edge. Oh, it's going. There we go. Okay. And then we can reheat this. We can also we probably will reheat it and throw green in it now and change the color entirely. Get off of me. Okay. I definitely am not like the best person at doing this, but I do really enjoy making these. So that's still really hot. That one over there. Okay, so we have that guy. And give that a go. Put it a little bit deeper. And then let's look at this one. I think this is the Crawdaddy. Oh yeah. So, oh, he turned out way better than I was expecting. So, this little one, and we'll pull the piece off of him. Look at that. This color turned out way different than I was expecting it to. So I find these ones cool off quicker. Come on. Oh, this one's got a couple air, is it an air bubble or is it an intentional indent? I think there's a couple air bubbles in these ones. But there's these ones. I don't know if you can see in the camera, but they're like, is it going to? Anyways, they get like a little bit rougher consistency on them than the other molds, and then I just break them off like this. There. Put that back in there. Actually, I want to make more in this color. Oh, this one's got an air bubble in it. So that, yeah, that one will get thrown back in there. And then, yeah, like I didn't put enough, ooh, calm down. I didn't put enough in there, so it didn't fill it up the whole way. So those ones will get put back in there. This one actually turned out not bad. I like it. And then this one, yeah, I feel like they're pretty good. These little bigger ones. I like this color. I don't know if a fish is gonna like this color, but I like this color. Literally half the entertainment is going out now and seeing if they're actually good for fish or not. Okay, one more. Oh, these finally turned out. So these are the little crappy flukes. Yeah, crappy flukes. I've had such a hard time with this mold, and I think it finally worked out. Look at these little guys. Like, it's always the tails that don't work for me. So this is sick. Okay, and I have a few of them, and it looks like they turned out well. No air bubbles. So, oh, yeah. I'm gonna heat up this stuff and throw in green. Actually, I might heat it up and we might make another batch because I freaking, well, we'll do a different color because I have enough of these. So I'll quickly show you. This is the same purple, this one, that made these. So I find that really interesting. I guess it's more of like a wine color. I really don't, hopefully this is like gonna catch something, but these, yeah, same purple.